Hello lovely Rockies, welcome to Since You've Been Scone. This is the preparation you should have done before starting the Zoom session. You should have soaked the sultanas overnight in a jug of water or fresh orange juice. Drain them thoroughly before you begin. This is not a critical step, no worries if you forget, because it can be missed out. Heat the oven to 220 degrees centigrade, 200 degrees if it's a fan oven, gas mark 7, and position a shelf ready in the middle of the oven. Cover an area of your work surface with tin foil and dust it with flour. Weigh out all your ingredients, beat an egg, have everything ready to go. Get all the equipment ready to hand. Now that all the prep's done, it's time to start baking. Step 1. Tip the flour into a large bowl with the salt and the baking powder and give them a mix. Add the butter cubes, then rub them into the flour with your fingers until the mix looks like fine breadcrumbs. Stir in the sugar. Put the milk into the microwave and heat for about 30 seconds until it's warm but not hot. Put a baking tray in the oven on the middle shelf. Make a well in the dry mix. Then add the sultanas and liquid. Combine it quickly with a cutlery knife. It will seem pretty wet at first. Next, tip the dough out onto the floured tin foil on your work surface. Sprinkle the dough and your hands with a little more flour. Then fold the dough over 2 or 3 times until it's a little smoother. Don't be too rough with the dough. It does not need to be rolled out. Pat the dough into a circle. The dough should be about 4 centimeters deep, no thinner than this or you'll end up making biscuits. Take a 5 centimeter cutter or a glass and dip it into some flour. Push the cutter into the dough. Don't twist it, just push it through. If the scone sticks in the cutter, just push it out gently. Repeat this until you have 4 scones. Pop the scones to one side on the tin foil. You will need to press what's left of the dough back together into a round to cut out another 4 scones. Try to do this as gently as you can. Again, 4 centimeters deep. The number of scones you make will depend on the size of your cutter, so don't worry if you have more or less than 8. Brush the tops of the scones lightly with beaten egg. Use your fingers if you don't have a brush, then wash and dry your hands. Take the baking tray out of the oven and carefully place the scones onto the hot baking tray. Try to do this quickly but safely to keep the heat in the tray. Put them on the shelf in the middle of the oven and bake for 10 to 12 minutes until risen and golden on top. This is important. Please leave the oven door closed for a minimum of 10 minutes before you check. This will give the scones the opportunity to rise. Next, how to check if they're cooked. Carefully pick up one of the scones and turn it over. Tap gently on the bottom. It should sound hollow. If not, pop it back into the oven for a further 2 minutes and check again. Allow the scones to cool for 15 to 20 minutes. Eat them just warm, or cold if you prefer, generously topped with jam and clotted cream. Once cool, the scones can actually be frozen. To eat them later, defrost thoroughly, then put them in a low oven about 160 degrees centigrade, gas mark 3, for a few minutes to refresh, or defrost them, cut them in half and pop them in the toaster. If you've never tried toasted scones, you've never lived. Enjoy.